Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lanre Ajayi, and your host on the Global Talkative Series. We're so sorry we're coming a bit behind schedule today. It was just some technical issues, but we got that sorted. Global Talkative Series is a platform where we come together to talk, to have a tete-a-tete, to share ideas, to talk to ourselves and find a way in which we can help each other, especially during these challenging times. And today, like we have it on this show, we have a guest that will be coming to discuss, to talk to us. And it's always a pleasure to speak to this guest of mine today. And like you've seen on our social media platform, today's topic is very interesting, the pandemic fashionistas, what we got to do during this age of, coronavirus. And my guest today is Irene Job, a fashion and lifestyle expert here in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And if you are joining us from around the world, I want to say thank you for joining us. Isimeme, thank you for joining on Instagram. Diela Nelson, we appreciate you. 12_14, thank you. And we are broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram real time. So Irene will be joining us right about now. Let me just can you let me just connect and just send an invitation to Irene. Okay.
Oh,
styling Carl Oakville. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you for that, for joining. We have Aditomi Ajayi saying hello. We're waiting for Irene to join as well. Thank you, Aditomi, for joining this conversation. We appreciate that. Okay, so we're expecting Irene to join.
Carl Oakville, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you for that, for joining.
Okay.
We have
Let me just get into the conversation.
saying hello. We're waiting for Irene to join as well. Thank you, Aditomi, for
Thank you, Nivin Dominic, for joining this conversation. We appreciate you. Hello, Irene, how are you?
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. It's going to be a wonderful time today. Soka, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you all. So, like we do in this show, I'm going to give you a brief background information about our guest and then we go right ahead in the question. Irene Job as a fashion and entertainment entrepreneur based in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. She has been in the fashion industry for over a decade. She added entertainment to about 2 years ago as a means of connecting to business opportunities within both interdependent industries. Irene is a mom, a global youth leader, a social media influencer, and a child insurance professional, still actively working in the industry for over 5 years. And she's my sister and my friend. How are you, Irene?
Thank you. I'm doing very well, Harry. Thank you so much for that introduction. And my apologies that we started this late to take too much of your time, but I will just tell you all I've been dealing with. I have two phones here. This one broke down just yesterday night. This is a new one, and I still have Instagram trying to load on here. And I'm using my 7-year-old Samsung right now to communicate with you guys. So this is to say that when you have a message, you'll be tested and forces will be against you. But you know what? We're going to have fun and we're going to have this conversation because it is very, very important. And I see my people here. Thank you, the Soldier Boy. Thanks for joining us, Usman from 90 Days Fiancé. Kemi has just joined. My makeup artist, as you guys can see, I wanted to come out looking fresh. And happy new month to everyone. Happy new month. This is my birth month. Larry, thank you for everything. Thank you for this initiative. You know, you and I, we've come a long way. We've worked on a lot of projects together, and it's always, always a pleasure to collaborate with you. And I was telling Sarah, my makeup artist, I said, people don't understand the sacrifice that is involved when you have to do these things.
Yeah.
But because of you, I'm not even kidding. I know what I had to do today to make it here. Again, I apologize that we're starting behind, but we're going to make good use of the time that we have. And yeah, let's do this. Hi,
Okay.
Fina Brooks.
Yeah. Okay. See, she started the studio official makeup by Anna. Thank you very much for joining. So, Irene, we've seen so many things happening in the community, especially with the killing of black men, right, in America, and there's been a lot of protest all around the world today. So, do you have a word, just a kind of advice or a word based on what is happening right now before we go to the questions?
Right. Thank you. Like I said, when you have a message, even the devil will go out of his way to test you, right? And it's rather unfortunate. And I know today we're here to talk about fashion and lifestyle, but even within the context of fashion and lifestyle, you understand that the things that are happening in our, I'm going to say in the US and other part of Western world, is these are things that have always been there, right? It's unfortunate that that in 2020 we're still experiencing police brutality. But I want to take you back to Michael Jackson's song of "They Don't Really Care About Us," right? All I want to say is that they don't really care about us. And the same Michael Jackson, many years ago, if you all remember, he's always had his gloves. He's always had his mask.
Yeah.
So really, there's nothing new, right? One thing I want to say is, as a people, as a minority, when they go low, we have to go high and even higher, and we have to continue to go high. Because the truth is, we don't have the privilege of being mad, being aggressive, being condescending, we don't have that privilege. And even we don't have that privilege, and it's not even the best way to live. Really, at the end of the day, I know people say Black life matters. All life matters, as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned. The race is human race. As long as you bleed the same blood that I bleed, we're all equals. There's nothing like minority. And I always say, being Black is an advantage. Never apologize for being Black. Never apologize for having an accent. Never apologize for being different or being unique. Never. It should always work in your favor. It's
Yes.
always an advantage, right? I give you an example. I'm a Black girl. There cannot be another Irene Job. This is me. Today I'm out here today with my hair looking very different from every other person. That's what makes me who I am. I'm not going to apologize for that. I will use it to my own advantage, right? And to my community, it is very, very important that we begin to speak greatness into our lives.
Yeah.
These things happen, and people go about destroying properties and their own community. It's nothing that I don't co-sign stuff like that. However, these things are important. We have to have these conversations. People have to react, but there has to be a balance. It needs to be a combination of all three. People like me who would say, you know what, go out there and be a business owner, employ people in your community. And when you get into this business, when you create this job opportunity, make sure you are the best. Your goal is to be the best. Give the best customer service, give the best products, your production process and your ethics, everything should be the best. In being the best, you are communicating a message, and your fellow Black people or whatever community, they'll be inspired, right, by what you've done. Sometimes it's not all about the aggression. I tell you, I'm an advocate of love, respect, and peace, and I will continue to do that. I will continue to advocate for peace, love, and mutual respect. At the end of the day, we are all humans. We all we were all created by God, and it's just about time that we come together as a people and make the world a better place, really.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that encouraging word. We all bleed the same blood.
True.
I've never seen a different kind of blood from the white to the black. The only difference is just the tone of our color, of our skin.
Yeah.
So that means we are all edged in the same place. That's
True.
wonderful. So to our audience, if you have any question today, feel free to put your question on Facebook or YouTube or on Instagram, and then we'll have use our best to ask questions. Bookie Wonder, thank you for joining. Kingsley 99, thank you for joining. Official Star Boy, thank you for joining. I appreciate you. Today's topic is the pandemic fashionistas, creativity in the age of coronavirus. So, Irene, what style of fashion do you sell, or what style of fashion do you preach?
Thank you. That's a good question. So my fashion is sustainable fashion, repurposeful fashion,
Hmm.
and eco-friendly fashion. For those people who know me, and for people who saw the poster, and because a lot of people reached out to me like, why is Larry dressed like this? I was like, you know what? Larry is my friend. The fact that you were able to use a photo that incorporated the what I represent, I mean, I was very, very happy about that. So the photo that Larry used, hi, Fina Brooks, I love you. The photo that Larry used for that flyer, the neck piece and the head piece he had on, those were hand painted with plants. Those were live plants. Like I said, we need an environment that we need to protect our environment. We all have the responsibility to protect our environment. So with my fashion, in the last 2 years, I've understood the urgency and the need to pay attention to my environment and be more eco-friendly, even with production and even the whole complete chain, right? And if it would interest you to know that the fashion industry is one of the highest pollutants, of the environment, with fabrics and all the waste, that is involved in the process of manufacturing just a few pieces. It's very important in every field. It's not just fashion, be it um, entertainment or whatever it is that you're doing. There has to be some form of purpose. There has to be value to humanity. There has to be value to even the customers, right? Sometimes it does come with a price, because when I decided to change my process, it cost me some money and inventory, but by all means I'm very satisfied. I'm very happy with the outcome, because not only did I focus on eco-friendly pieces and fabrics and production, I stopped manufacturing in China and Turkey, right? I used to manufacture my clothes in China, but now I'm manufacturing right here in the city of Calgary. And the goal for me is, if I have to manufacture outside of Canada, I want it to be in Nigeria, which is my home country.
That's wonderful. So the next question is on the screen. For those who are watching us on Facebook and YouTube, what has inspired you in this direction?
That's a good question. When it comes to my fashion and my brand, I'm one of those, I would say, fashion designers that, for me, I mean, I'm in the business to make money, but at the same time, I need to have a story. And back in Nigeria, those of us that grew up in Nigeria, you would remember that as a family, the clothes that you wear, like the clothes, I'm the first daughter, right? Till date, when I wear my clothes, in fact, I still have clothes from like 15 years ago, because I'm not so much of a trend person. I love plastic pieces, right? I love to have things in my wardrobe that would be, I can have it for 20 years and I can pass it on to maybe my daughter or even my sisters, which has always been the case. So for me, that is also a sustainable fashion, right?
Yeah.
Because now I'm not just buying clothes because I just want to buy it and I wear it and I don't. I buy my clothes, I take good care of my things. And that's another problem that we as a people, especially those in Nigeria, maintenance culture is terrible, right? Terrible. So me as a person, if I can take care of my own clothes, it doesn't matter how much it costs, right? I could buy a top for, I could buy a top for like $50, but I would ensure that I take good care of it because in my mind, I don't want to waste stuff. I don't know when I'm done. That's Michelle. Apologies. you know, yeah, I just try to keep my stuff. The same thing with my son right now. Most of his stuff, I have them because someday we're going to pass them on to the next kid in the family. And that's just how it goes. So it's a combination of everything and the fact that it's important to minimize the waste. And for me, it's not just about clothes. My coworkers, they will tell you, I'm like that with everything. I don't I can't stand people that are wasteful. Like, if you're someone that cannot just preserve things and use them in a different way, oh my goodness, it just gets to me, you know.
Okay. Good. Yeah. Brooks said, I have clothes that I still for the past 5 years in my closet
Yeah.
I can give to my daughters and my sisters.
Yeah.
You know,
And I shop from her wardrobe too. Michelle wants to say hi. Okay.
hi Michelle. I'm enjoying the holiday.
How are you?
I'm good.
Nice. Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you. So,
Yeah, and with this one, this top is a Nigerian brand. Let me stand so you guys can see it. It's a Nigerian brand. It's Design. The name of the brand is Design. They're on here, and I actually obtained it from my my friend mom's closet just over the weekend. It's not even supposed to be my size, but I made it work, right?
yeah,
You see how that looks? And you see a piece like this. So my friend's mom is 51 and I'm what, 32. She can wear it and she looks fabulous in it. And I wear it and I look fabulous. And her granddaughter is still going to wear it, right? And you can style it different ways. So I like multifunctional kind of pieces. I like pieces that it's not restricted to just one, it's something that, what is Nancy saying? Michelle 2020 does not. Yeah, So yeah, and shout out to her. Shout out to my auntie Heidi for letting me obtain her top. We like to shop from her closet because she has such. Yeah. But anyways, that's.
That's cool. Someone said, "Can I come and obtain it?"
No, don't come and obtain it. Too. I will tell you where to buy it. It's a good piece. It's something that I feel every girl should have in her closet. I went to the mall. I went to Chinook because I was trying to unlock my phone, or rather fix my phone at the Apple store. And everyone was like, what is going on? I'm like, oh, this is actually me on a normal day. This is how I roll, Just kidding. But yeah, it's very different. It's very unique, Fashion is good manners,
Yes,
I want to come on your show looking my best because I respect you and I appreciate what you're doing. And this is my way of telling you, Larry, look, this thing when they say most valuable is not just words. It's
action.
It's action, There are levels to these things. You know what I mean?
Thank you very much. So, for those who are watching us, we're reaching out to you from Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Fina said, I'm watching you on both platforms. Thank you so much.
Only Fina can do that. Only Fina can do that.
Comment on YouTube or Facebook. Your comment will sure be posted, like it's here now. You can comment on the screen at the same time as the posting. If you have any question for Irene, feel free to post a question on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. We will do our best to answer the question. So you've been doing this for some time. How will you describe the journey so far in this kind of evolving fashion? How do you describe your journey so far?
Right. Fashion is something that I was born into. My mom is actually a fashion designer. Like, I grew up watching her make clothes for like the first lady of my state, all those blouses that they used to make and stuff like that. I grew up watching my mom. I've always had custom made clothes. But back then, I didn't appreciate it. That's the truth. I'm not going to lie. Back then, I used to be like, oh, why do I have to wear all these things? So she would make clothes for me. And at the time, my dad was working in Paris and he would always shop for the best. Oh, my dad is actually a very fashionable person. But I would always want to wear the things that my dad, because of course it's foreign and Paris. Who doesn't love anything that is, from Paris? Things like that. But growing up now, I just look back and I'm like, wow, this woman was actually good. And these clothes that she made for me, if I look at them now, I'm like, these are things that even if I have a daughter now, I can still wear. She can wear those things and they will still be very different and very unique. So that was I was born into fashion. My mom is still very fashionable. At the time, I didn't even think that I would be interested in the business of fashion, but I've always loved to, dress up nice and just show up. That's how I am. I don't care. You don't have to like it, but that's just who I am. On the other side, my dad, he was a DJ, so music has always been in my family. My dad, his nickname is Papi J. They call him Papi J. He was a DJ. He was also a professional goalkeeper. He used to play for both River State and Total. Then it was Elf because he's always worked. I was born. I was born into a family where my dad was already, in the oil and gas industry, and my mom was doing fashion. So naturally, right now, my younger sister, she's a lawyer, but she has her own clothing line. She makes clothes and she has like ready to wear and all of that. So for me, eventually it just kind of creeped up and like, oh no, this is what you like. And since you like it, has to say Papi J. Essie, I'll beat you. Don't let my dad hear it. But yeah, that was his nickname, Papi J. So I started off when I was in uni. Back then, when I traveled for vacation, I would always buy stuff and I'd bring them to school. And even when I don't travel, friends would travel and they would give me some stuff and I'll just add just a little profit because I'm not a greedy person. I've always been like this, trust me. Just a little profit is good enough for me. And I did that for some time. And eventually I started to travel just for the soul of buying clothes. Back then when I was in Abuja, I was working. After my NYC, I worked. Some people who know, I worked in a diplomatic mission for about 3 years before I moved to Canada. I would leave Abuja on Friday morning. Yeah, Friday morning, arrive London, go straight to shopping, do all the shopping that I can, and then I'm back on a flight back to Abuja. Prior to me getting to London, I would have shopped online. I would shop online back then, New Look, Dorothy Perkins, and what's this other popular? River Island, Zara, all of those ones. I would shop online and then I would have it shipped to my cousin's house in London. And oh man, if I remember this thing, it just makes me laugh. When I'm in London, I'm like a mad woman. Like I'm moving around with 2 big boxes because this is not shopping of bags, boxes. As I buy, I put them, fold, because there's no time, I drag my suitcases. Sometimes my cousin would go with me because then she was doing her master's. Yeah, sometimes she'll come with me and I would even have the opportunity to buy more things. But I only have two hands. Imagine going in the subway and all this, the train. You know how London is, it was crazy. But for me, that was the hustle, and just knowing that as soon as I get to Abuja, my friends would just every corner, they will come shop. I can tell you that within the first week of my arrival, everything is gone.
Wow.
But of course, the downside, Nigeria, most times, unigbese, they like to do credit. So what I used to do, you buy, just keep this one when you pay, And then I went from coming to the western part to shop to going to places like Turkey. And of course, Turkey, you would have to buy in more quantity.
Yeah.
So I would do that to the point that even my boss at the time invested in my business. I remember that. Yeah, he invested because he's like, I've never seen anyone do this kind of thing. And that's another thing, right? If you show the people that you work with, like right now, I still work in the industry. I've been a chartered insurance professional for 4 years, almost 5 years actually. And I've worked in the industry for almost 6 years, right? The same company. The people at my work, they know that this is what I do. They know I have side hustle, which is fashion. They support me, they patronize me, right? And one thing is people always feel the need to just hide and the fact that you have a 9 to 5 job doesn't mean that you can't pick up other side hustle, because the truth is there's so much that we can do, right? So I remember my boss, he's a foreigner, investing in my business just because he could see the passion and the commitment that I had. And he would give me time, he would give me Fridays. And of course, I used to put in the hours. Most times I would even work extra hours, even on the weekends, just to make up, Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of like a background. That's a background. But when I moved to Canada, things changed. I first started off in retail, which some people know, some people don't know. I've worked in retail. And the reason that I worked in retail was because I wanted to have access to different brands. I wanted to have an understanding of the market and seeing the way the customers connect with these purchases. So I was very specific. The first Marshalls in Calgary, I'm one of the people who opened it. My friend God's Power is here. Hi, God's Power.
Yeah.
I remember back then, I had a friend of mine who would always say, Irene, why are you doing this kind of work? I'm like, you know what? It's very important for me to communicate with. I want to see the expression, the excitement, because if you know how Marshalls and Winners, if you know how the business is, they have different brands. They carry different brands from high end to, just about anything good at a very reasonable price. I used to buy a lot of my designer stuff from there. They used to carry Gucci, Valentino, D&G, all of those big names, and they're usually limited edition. I remember back then, some of my co-workers, the managers, they would be like, this girl, is there another thing you're doing? Because I don't know how you're working here. You're always buying things of $2,000, I'm like, well, maybe I'm just working so I can buy one or two things. But for me, it was part of my journey. I needed to understand the business of retail in that capacity. And I worked with them for, I believe, 2 years. It was after I had my son. I went back for a bit, and then my resignation was very, very detailed. I made them understand that it is my wish that someday, right, my brand will be in my Winners. So I'm going to make reference to my resignation later, and it was working there was one of the best. I still keep in touch with some of my co-workers, right? But sometimes people don't understand these things. There's certain things that you will have to experience it in order for you to appreciate it and in order for you to see the value. So when I sit down and I'm dealing with manufacturers, I'm dealing with vendors, because most times when I make my clothes, I just distribute it, outside of Canada, of course.
Okay.
I usually do very limited
Editions.
because I'm not big on mass production. I understand the process. I understand customer service. I've been a customer service expert
Before.
over a decade, right? Michelle, please. So it was very important, and that really helped me.
Mm.
I'm looking at different, it's hard to have access to different brands the way that Marshalls. Another maybe example would be somewhere like Nerdstrom, but I don't think, I actually do prefer Marshalls just because of the excitement that even the customers they get.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my journey when it comes to this fashion
industry. That's
business.
amazing. In life, people see the glory. They don't know the story.
True.
They see the glamour, the glitz, but the pain and the trials behind, they don't get to see.
Yeah.
You watch movies, wow, amazing movies. But as an actor myself, I know what goes behind the scene before you see the movie. So thank you for giving us those background information on the journey so far, so that people will know that, oh, Irene, you're looking chic, you're looking that, but behind this glamour, there's always a story. And that takes me to our next question. Based on what we're talking about, we see fashion come and fashion go. But this day and age, we have a new normal in our community, in our cities, in our nations across the world. Now, the question is, in what ways has COVID-19 influenced the new style of fashion?
Right. So, like I said, there's nothing new about the fashion that we're seeing right now, because if you pay attention, there's certain people who have always, it's called protective fashion, right? Naturally, the main purpose of sunglasses is to protect your eyes.
Yeah.
Right? But now we've gone ahead to advance and enhance and make something big out of it just because we can, right? It's the same thing, the mask has come to stay, whether we like it or not. And it's a good thing. And at the same time, it's not so good for everybody. Like, I personally don't like it. I'm one of those people that I don't mind. Every other person can wear the mask, but I don't want to wear the mask. I went to Chinook today, and
why? Let me ask you, why don't you like the mask?
Because I'm not gonna get my face so nice and then I put a mask. Anybody got time for that? And some people naturally, like my friend Bovi, he has one of his nose is almost blocked, or he cannot really breathe with it. So I'm like, this is a problem. Like, how are you going to, what if somebody just suffocates from wearing masks, So truly, there are people who have health challenges that thing makes them uncomfortable, right? But my own case is different. Mine is just that it's not just my kind of thing, right? But again, it's here to stay. It's nothing new. Go back and look at Michael Jackson. You will see even his gloves with all the bling bling and all that. It's always been there. And even the Muslims, right? The Muslim ladies, how they wrap up,
the hijab,
hijab and all that, So these things have always been there, but now there's the awareness of it. I'll give you an example. There was from last year, I think 2029, it appeared on the runway so many times, even before this whole coronavirus became a thing. In February, there was a lot of completely maxed. If you go to my fashion, right? If you go, most of the stylings that I've done, remember on Ethnic, by the way, I'm the official stylist for Ethnic Fashion Festival of, If you go back to most of the fashion, you will see that I'm very big on veil, right? I would cover a veil, or I would do something around, even I think I remember the one I used, Ashoki, up to what was it? I think it was a rondelle, you
On the
know?
robot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rumble.
Things that for me it's always been there. I've always been very particular about protecting either yourself, your mind, because it's so easy for us to we're naturally exposed to a whole lot of things. And you look at it again, even with what is happening in the US, it is very important that we protect ourselves on different level, whether with fashion, whether with what we expose our mind to, our eyes to, the things that we speak up for and against. Um, the pandemic has definitely created more awareness with regards to us paying attention to the most basic things like washing your hands, covering your mask. These are basic manners that people should be doing. But when you talk about it, it's like they look at you like, why are you talking like you're a saint? No, you have to wash your hands. When you sneeze, you have to. There are ways of doing these things. If anything, being at home has kind of made us to understand that even the big brands, right? They're beginning to look at other options, right? They're beginning to look at more sustainable things. The world that we live in right now, we're not always going to be outside. A lot of businesses do not have to rent a space. The good, right?
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of brands, a lot of fashion houses now have a better appreciation for what used to be, oh, sales, sales, sales,
Yeah.
right? There was a fall in all of these things. People didn't see the need to buy anything. We're not going anywhere. Why am I going to shop, right? So yeah, I think it's always been there, but right now the awareness is becoming even more.
Thank you so much. I want to appreciate Ijaoye Adedayo for joining us audio from Abuja. Thank you, Daniel
Hi.
Adoni from Houston, Texas. Thank you, Jim Maria. Thank you, P. Ajayi and Karen Ball, all watching on Facebook, and E plus C Accounting, Elijah Omorokeva. Thank you for watching. Official Honorable Emmanuel Nelson.
We appreciate watching and for the station. We appreciate you so much for the support. Now we're going to the next question, and things that has been very, very, very important.
To the station,
You think
very important. You
fashion
think this kind of fashion can be sustained? Because fashion comes, fashion goes. But
this
this new, I've seen some models on the runway with almost their eyes covered. Now, in the Arabian world, like you said earlier, the Muslim dress all covered with hijab, but now it's becoming trendier. Now,
Yeah.
is it going to be sustainable? Is it sustainable? What is the future of this fashion trend?
It is sustainable. As a matter of fact, eh, as a matter of fact, people are going to, at some point, they're going to take it to the next level of almost like a cat woman, those like Spider-Man kind of
Yeah.
stuff, that everything will be covered and just the eye, just because it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be here for a very long time because a lot of countries have passed the bill, right? You must have a mask on for you to be out in the public. And if I know human beings, nobody likes anything boring. If you make it fashionable, if you make it a statement piece, people would. Personally, I've had a lot of people from Nigeria send me stuff that they've done, outfits that incorporates a mask, and being a custom made brand too, I have a lot of pieces because during production, I don't let my manufacturers, I don't let them get rid of pieces. because again, for me, it's very important that I cut down on waste. So from all of those pieces, I could just decide to do something nice and, create a nice mask, right? I don't necessarily like it, but I believe that it is sustainable. It's going to be here for a very long time.
Okay, good. So I have a question from
Okay, good. So I have a question from Brooks on Facebook. Said, Irene, how would you advise someone in a low budget job who wants to be?
That's a very, very good question.
And I hope Nivin Dominic is
I
watching.
hope Nivin Dominic is watching.
Why are you calling Nevin Dominic? Are you trying to say something? Okay. It wouldn't try. I'm going to say something. It's not, a lot of people will not come and tell you this. A lot of people will not tell you this, but I'm as real as it comes, okay? Now, you don't have to break the bank to look good.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of consignment stores that you can shop from. I tell you, if you go to somewhere like Marshall's, I've bought a top for $2 from Marshall's, and I still have it. It's good quality.
Wow.
It is, in fact, anytime, any day, if I wear that top, it's good, right? $2. And I'm not even kidding. Most people who know me, when I'm making all these purchases, I always post, just so you see, because I'm always trying to encourage people. You don't have to break the bank to look good, right? I'm very big on quality over quantity. Another thing you could do is, I'm not encouraging this, but we live in the Western world where there's so many things you can get away with. You can decide to, every week when Zara has a new collection, or when they release their news, whatever, you can, if you're a blogger, if you're a fashion blogger, you can decide to try out these things. You can use them for your photo shoot in your house. It's almost as good as going to the store and just trying on clothes. It's not like you're going to mess it up or wait for a party and go and return. A lot of people do it, but they're not going to come here and tell you. A lot of fashion bloggers that you see, I want to assure you that that is what they do.
Wow.
They can go to, say, Topshop or any of these stores. You buy what you want to buy, you use it, because the truth is, what people want to see is your style. They don't necessarily want to see that you dress expensive or you look rich. That's why people always get it wrong. People want you to give them value. Why should I follow you as a fashion blogger? Are you telling me about your deals that you find? Are you telling me about, the best places to shop and get good deals? Are you giving me any kind of advice when it comes to fashion other than, look, I look really nice, right? So you'll be very surprised. Even Marshalls, when I used to work there, I know a lot of people that would buy stuff after a month, they'll come and return it. Return it, there's no problem. There's always going to be someone that will buy it, but it is not good practice for you to go and buy something, use it, mess it up. Some people with some body smell, and then you return it. It's going to be like, even your conscience will not even let you know.
That is why,
But for a start, it is important. And guess what? In doing that, naturally, like I have people in my DM always telling me they want to send me stuff. I have a lot of clothes that people send to me, right? For me to, as an influencer, to wear and all that kind of stuff. But I'm very intentional about the things that I choose to promote and I choose to support.
Yeah.
It's not me discriminating about anything, but everybody that knows me, they know that my number one priority is to promote my community and made in Nigerian brands, right? Which is what I've always done. But I also tell people, as a matter of fact, even Zara, I could have been a brand ambassador for Zara, but at some point I just, that's not the direction that I want to go at this time. But I love Zara, and I will always love Zara. The pants I'm wearing today is from Zara, right? I've had it for at least maybe 3 years now. it's a black pant. It's always going to be useful. It's always going to be in my closet. I'm always going to wear it with different kind of tops and style it different ways. So yeah, by all means, but money is not the number one thing. If you want to consistency, right? Even within your closet, you can style things differently. Now I'm wearing this top, right?
Yeah.
I'm wearing it as an off shoulder. I can wear it like, oh, maybe I'm not doing it. I can wear it like this and it will look like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And I can bring my hand out of it completely. And this is another top.
Yeah. And
I have a jacket. I have a jacket. I can throw it on,
Yeah.
and something different, So at the end of the day, what people are interested in, I could do it like this, and it will look like a different top. So always go for, it's not about trend. Go for things that are functional, things that you can style in different ways and value for your money, really.
And be creative.
Sale.
Yeah. And be creative doing it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because the person who designed this top, she probably designed it to be worn in one particular way.
It's not up to you to take it to the next level.
To you. That's why you have stylists. That's why a stylist, not all fashion designers are stylists. Some fashion designers are stylists, which is, they get more creative, and that's why you see their pieces. They are pieces that can be worn in different ways. But again, it's all relative. Some people like trends, some people like classic pieces.
Yeah. And also, like Tina said, you can accessorize, like put a brooch or belt or something else to make it, like we say in Nigeria, ginger your swagger.
Exactly.
Cool. Now, going to the next question. What happens after COVID-19? The question we were came earlier was, how do we sustain it? Sustainable. We're hoping, and it's a prayer that we'll get to the curve of this pandemic all over the world completely. Now, once COVID is over, what happens to the new fashion trends, the mask, the covering? What happens? Are we going to continue that, or is it going to just, fizzle out of the time?
I don't think it's going to fizzle out. We're definitely going to continue. As a matter of fact, a lot of great things will come out of COVID-19 just because there's the realization of the need to be more innovative. I posted a digital runway from is it Nahi? What is this brand name? Nahifa or something like that. It's the girl she's based in the US, but she's originally from Congo, right? So those kind of fashion, those are the type of fashion that I'm interested in, right? Brands that use their platform and their brand to create awareness and talk about things going on in the world and address serious issues such as child slavery and everything that's going on in Congo. It's on my page, but I believe the name of the brand is Hanifa. It should be Hanifa. I did
yeah.
It was amazing. That collection it's not just the collection, the story behind it, and the fact that they went ahead and had a fashion show, a digital fashion show, right? I think they were the first to do that. And naturally, other big brands, big names, they're going to try to be even more creative and more innovative. And, it's just time that we all start using our head and creating stuff and accepting the fact that the world will never be the way it was before.
Yeah.
It's not going to be business as usual. Even when there is the vaccine for the coronavirus, we're still going to have to practice social distancing. Like I said, it's not just about coronavirus. These are basic things. Someone like Fina Brooks, if you know Fina Brooks, in fact, she started social distancing even before COVID came into existence. As much as we are very emotional and very touchy people, there's certain things that have to there are certain precautions that we have to observe. Like, you gotta wash your hands. Come on. Why would people wash their hands when you sneeze? Why do you just go psha? You want to spread germs everywhere. Mina
That's
is
amazing.
laughing.
Wow, thank you so much. We have about like 7 minutes more before we go, and today it's been an honor for me, chatting with the amazing Irene Job, a
Irene
fashion
Joe,
and lifestyle
lifestyle
expert.
expert.
And our today's
This
discussion is
discussion
about the
about
pandemic fashionistas, creativity in the age of
the age of
coronavirus. Now, this is a question that I got in
I
the
got
sent to
in the
me
same
now
now.
about a lot of
A
ladies,
lot of
women,
men
single. I've seen that from my own
my own
experience. I have three
this
sisters,
is
my mom, my
my
wife,
mom,
and my daughters,
my
and
daughter.
this
This is
this common
this
question they keep saying
keep saying
if they're going out
they're
now or they want to go
out
somewhere,
somewhere.
and the next thing is
And
like,
the next
oh,
is like,
I don't
oh,
have
I
what to
don't
wear.
have what to wear.
And you
And
open the
you open
closet, and there are a lot
and
of clothes, and
oh,
the next is
and
I don't even have
I don't
clothes
have
again.
what to wear.
I was like, come
I was like,
on,
come on,
these are
this
clothes. Maybe they
maybe
have to
they
start
have
thinking about
something
to
about
mix and match.
mix and
So what
match.
do
So
you
what
say
do you
about
say
that?
about that?
Well, that's why you need a stylist or, someone who can take care of fix that wardrobe. There are a lot of things that I do besides selling clothes, like some of you know. I'm a stylist and I help people put together. I can pick out 5 pieces from your wardrobe and style them in different ways that you'll be blown away. Like, unfortunately, a lot of people struggle with that,
Mm,
because most times if you have more than 10 piece of clothing, as I'm talking pants, 2 tops, a dress, you have enough clothes, honestly.
yeah,
You can go to work every day looking like a different person with those things. You don't have to break the bank. People always think that I have a lot of clothes. I actually don't have a lot of clothes. Most of my clothes are things that I've had for a long time. I'm talking 15 years. I
wow,
have things in my closet from 15 years, from the things that I sold, because I'm very big on I have to sample the product, which is what I do right now. I make one piece, I sample it on me and my own model, and people order for it, and then I go into production. So for me, it's another way of not being wasteful, both with my resources and also just the process of my manufacturing process, right? So I produce according to the order that I have. I do pre-order, and then yeah, taken into production, and when it's done, because my fabrics are they're almost like sample fabrics, right? So when it's gone, it's gone.
wow,
Also a good marketing strategy. So for those kind of people, that's why you need me. 2 things: you can have one-on-one with me, and I will show you how to even so-called bloggers. It's not all bloggers, fashion bloggers, that actually have style. They don't not necessarily know how to. Some people just boost buzz. But I also style not only special occasion, because I'm a stylist for like um, birthdays, weddings, both traditional, white, you know, pre-wedding, those kind of things. Runway, I love runway the most because it gets me very excited, and the whole backstage thing, you know how it is, Larry. So yeah, I'm I've made myself available, but most times people always say, "Oh, I'm sure it's very expensive." Even I had a project with Buki, right? Buki of
wonder.
yeah, Buki Wanda for her show. So I'm waiting. I believe it's going to air in August. So I'm looking forward to that as well.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Irene, for your time today, and thank you, Michelle, for popping in and telling us that yeah, I'm here, I'm here. Thank
In
you
the
very
room.
much. It's been an
Thanks.
amazing time talking to Irene Job, fashion and lifestyle expert here in Calgary, Alberta. And today's topic has been part of what is happening in the community, the pandemic fashionistas. That is creativity in the age of coronavirus.
Yeah.
What kind of closing word do you have for our audience before we'll, draw the curtain to this program?
Um. One thing that I would try to encourage everyone out there is the first step is to start. You have to have faith. You got to start the process. And when you begin the journey, things are going to build up. You know, you can't, you don't expect yourself to be good at something that you've never tried, right? Up until you try, you will never know if you're going to succeed or if you're going to advance. But the truth is, you are better off trying, because you try today, you see, oh, and then you watch your journey, right? And that's one thing I like about documenting my process, right? I remember when I started doing fashion blogging, which I stopped at some point, not because I'm not good at it, but because it takes a lot of time. And my biggest problem is I have all these beautiful pictures. Which one do I post? Then that's another time that is required, right? So even as a fashion blogger, maybe the first 10 shoots you have, you can tell that this pose is weak. But the more you continue to do it, you'll see how it will just come to you naturally, right? And in doing that, you're going to see people will reach out to you to collaborate. People will want you to promote their brand. But one thing is, it has to come from the heart. If Let it not be about the money. I know everybody wants to make money, but do stuff because because you love it, because you enjoy it, and because you make a business out of it.
Yeah.
And be truthful to yourself. Don't try to put out what you're not, because you're going to restrict yourself. You're going to limit yourself from people who would normally collaborate with you. They'll be like, oh, maybe this one is do this. So me, honestly, just do your best, because the truth is, whatever you do, there are certain people that will still complain or whatever, right? Like for me, people think, oh, she's too expensive, but you haven't even approached me, right? And then if you want to collaborate with people, just do it in a very respectful way. Be very careful. Make good use of social media. I'm telling you, there has never been a time like this where people are accessible on social media. People pay attention, including your big celebrities. They pay attention to their social media. You're just one DM away, but your first DM should not be, hey, hi. Don't do that. If you're going to go into anyone's DM, be very professional. Let it be one long, good afternoon, or hello, address the person well. My name is this. Tell the person in one distinct. Don't send hi, hello. It's rude. Nobody has time for that.
Yeah.
Me, when you send me a DM, if you DM me and you just say hi, I don't answer those type. I don't care if you want to give me long life and prosperity. I'm not going to respond to that because it's a waste of my time. So, be professional. Whoever it is, you can have access to whoever it is on Instagram. A lot of celebrities these days, they actually handle their Instagram themselves. So utilize it, make good use of it, put your work out there, continue to push yourself, continue to push yourself. People might not like your post, they might not acknowledge you, they might not comment, but guess what? They are seeing it, they are sharing it, they are saving it, they are screenshotting it. I hear that a lot of people's phone, if you go on a lot of people's phone, you see screenshots of my pictures and my messages. Some people will tell you, oh, this one likes to write long caption. No, if it's important, continue to do it. Because there's one person out there that is waiting for that message. And guess what? Your success and the success of millions of people, a lot of people's destinies are connected to yours. Lanre, like someone like you, do you know a lot of people who are inspired by what you're doing? I'm one of those. Someone like Usman, my friend, was here before, you know, a lot of people. But if you don't start the process, if you continue to say, oh, what would people say? I don't think they like me. They don't even like themselves to start with. Do you know that? Do you know a lot of people don't like themselves? So why are you going to bother yourself about somebody who doesn't even know how to accept themselves? Do you? When I go on Instagram, when I make a post, or either on my Instagram story or on my main page, I'm trying to connect with just one person. One person is good enough. If one person sees my message, I'm okay. Now we're here. If one person or two people get my message of be yourself, be authentic at every given time, be authentic, humble beginnings. You're not going to, a child will first sit down, crawl, stand, walk before you run. You don't jump the process. It
Yeah.
is very important to have a solid foundation. If the foundation is solid, everything else is just going to,
All in place.
everything just
All in
happen
place.
organically. Exactly.
Thank you so much for our viewers all around the world. We've come to the end of the show. We're time out on Instagram, but we're still live on YouTube and Facebook. I want to say thank you so much for hanging out with me and Irene today on the Global Talkative series. It's been an amazing time. Irene, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Thank you for the good work you do in the community, for influencing so many people, and taking the bold step to do what you do, and you're still working, and you're a mom, and you're doing all of that. It's a lot of sacrifice. Payday is coming. I know payday is coming.
Well, every day is payday for me,
Yeah,
honestly. Every day is payday for me. That's another thing. A lot of people always tell me, oh, why don't you monetize your Instagram and all that? Everything about life is not about money.
yeah.
I make a lot of money from my presence on social media, and the things that I represent, right? When people come to me, they know that you're going to get value for. If I spend an hour to talk with you, I'm not beating around the bush or I'm telling you real life situation, and I'm sharing stories and giving you recommendations based on personal experience, so that you don't make the same mistake. So I do have a fee. I'm not, I like to be there for my community, but it's also a business for me.
Yeah.
And it's not just about fashion, branding. My first degree is in business management, right? Business administration, and went ahead to do international business management before insurance, which is the field that I'm currently in. So, by all means, if we didn't answer any of your questions, you can always reach out to me on Instagram for collaborations.
Yeah.
Partnership and stuff. But like I said, you guys need to pay attention to social media. There are levels to these things. When you want to communicate with people, be very careful. Use the right words, right? Be respectful, be professional. It's as good as email, right? Because your communication they can screenshot your communication, which is very normal, right? So you don't want your message to go out there. Anyone that has communicated with me via Instagram will attest to the fact that my message, I try to be professional, and I always give you my first and last name at the end, because I want you to know that this is coming from me. This is a reply from me, right? So I hope that truly, 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 people will pay attention to these things. Let us all utilize this platform, social media. It's such a blessing to humanity. It's the same reason why we're hearing and we're seeing videos of this police brutality. These things have always been there. Again, like I said, always been there, but we're just beginning to see them because they're now being filmed.
Yes.
So they truly haven't. They don't really care about us, but it's now up to us to care for ourselves enough to change the narrative, and in a positive way.
Thank you so much. And to all our viewers, I'll leave you with this closing word. You can either be your brother's keeper or your brother's killer. Which one are you? Thank you for hanging out with me today on the Global Talkative series. I'm your host, Lanre Ajayi. Irene, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Thank you all.
Thank you.
We're back soon with a new episode in a few days' time. Bye for now.
Bye. This was fun.